We've got What If Season 3, we've got Spider-Man 4 update, and we've got Avengers Doomsday, a big actor returning. News broke from The Wrap that Chris Evans is set to return in Avengers Doomsday.
Welcome back to the Breakroom! In part, thanks to CCXP this past weekend, we got a ton of new trailers, we got a ton of new teasers, including a couple that Evan has said, hey, Jessica, John, if you haven't watched it already, don't watch it. It's crazy. I want it to be a surprise. So we haven't watched it until we're going to watch it with you guys today. It is the Headlines Show! Hit that graphic.
H-E-D-L-I-N-E-S. Oh, the S is a little delayed. Interesting.
We should fix that in post. I'm John Costa, and joining me today is Evan.
Hello.
And Jessica.
Happy to talk CC me P.
Okay, well.
What is that?
I heard you did something else this weekend. Also coming up, Invincible Season 3, What If Season 3, Mandalorian and Grogu, Spider-Man 4, potentially Avengers Doomsday, and a lot of trailers. We got a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
And
it's a lot of good stuff. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, look, the end of the year is coming. And it's a time of reflection. And I want to reflect on the fact that we still don't have 100,000 subscribers on the Breakroom. And you know what? We're not on pace to hit $100,000.
$100,000. That's a different fundraiser.
If you send us $100,000, we'll do some weird stuff. Okay? We're so close to 100,000 subscribers. We want to do it by the end of the year. We are not on pace. Okay? I have been told we will hit 100,000 subscribers on January 18th, a very specific day. I mean that not that something's happening that day.
That is the day.
And I want it to happen on December 31st. And let me remind you the stakes. Evan and I will do anything.
Yep.
Okay?
Promises are being made.
In fact, I promise... what was I going to promise before the stream? I can't remember. Evan and I will dress up and do something goofy.
Yeah.
How about that? This is what it was going to be. Stan Lee is selling his house.
You're going to buy his house?
I can't afford to. What Evan and I will do, I've not talked to Evan about this. Mm-hmm. We're going to dress up as potential buyers.
There it is. That's the house from the outside.
And we're going to do a tour of Stan Lee's house.
Oh, that's a good idea.
If we hit 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year and this house is still on the market.
Yeah. That's fun.
We'll go bring you inside Stan Lee's.
You know what we need to do? You need to also include me on this. And I reach out as your assistant. And I'm like, my boss would like to come take a look at the house really quick.
We're moguls.
What do they do?
We real estate.
Oh. Yeah, and we dress up as, we can stand next to it as Spiderman, right?
Oh, actually, that's two of us, and one of them is fake. Which one is Evan? Which one is John? Which one is a statue? You'll never know unless we hit 100,000 subscribers.
They're selling the house, but they're leaving his stuff?
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
Are you sure it's not an estate sale?
I don't. They just got those words flipped around. They're selling his estate, or there's an estate sale.
First off, Stan Lee could never have an estate sale. Like that house could never be an estate sale. It would be too many of us all outside, going crazy inside. But what was the guy from that died from the game show?
Bob Barker, still alive.
Still alive.
No, it has the 500. Like, I'll take this for 500. What was that guy? Game show?
Howie Mandel, still alive.
Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
Alex Trebek's estate sale went crazy viral. There were so many fans of that show there, and my friend bought one wine bottle that he had in his house for over like his family for generations. They opened it, drank it. Horrible.
Oh,
horrible. Just so you guys know. But we should try. We should try.
Shouldn't have put Alex Trebek's ashes in that bottle of wine.
They straight up shimmied it in there. They used a funnel.
Keeping the worst parts.
It's okay. It's out.
Hey, also, before we get into the show, we wanted to give a shout out to nerdriot.shop because everything is 30% off, including this shirt that I have on, the shirt that Jessica has on, Evan's hat. Literally these items that are on our bodies right now. We'll sell them
this shirt, the Moncala shirt.
Oh,
I love this shirt.
I love this shirt. I could rip this shirt off and give it to you guys for 30% off.
There you go.
I will say I sweated through the pits.
Okay. Hey, we have a sponsor for that later. Okay, this has been a lot of pre-show preambles. But one more thing. Before we get into this treasure trove of trailers, shout out to some of our favorite IP getting some nominations at the Golden Globes.
Woo!
Incredible. Kathryn Hahn has been nominated for Best Performance by a Female Actor in a TV Series, Musical, or Comedy for her role as Agatha. Emma D'Arcy, for their role in House of the Dragon, has been nominated for Best Female Actor in a TV Series Drama in House of the Dragon. And of course, we love our wickedly talented ladies. Wicked has been nominated for Best Musical or Comedy. Cynthia Erivo has been nominated for Best Actress. And Ariana Grande, we weren't sure which category they would submit her to. She has been nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
So that probably clues us into how they'll submit for the Oscars as well, if we had to guess.
And The Penguin also got a lot of nominations in Best Limited Series. Kristen Milioti for Best Female Actor, Colin Farrell, Best Male Actor in Limited Series, also the show itself. So I guess that lends some thought that this will only be a limited series. There won't be a Penguin season 2, but it seems like everyone's pretty open to revisiting the characters in some way, so it'll be interesting to see how it, comes back. And also, like, as Ted Lasso has kind of showed us, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can be like, we'll come back, we'll do another season. None of these things matter anymore. So, yeah. It is an HBO show, but obviously with the relationship with Max, anything's possible.
Yeah, I think if they figure out how to make Colin Farrell less uncomfortable in the prosthetics, I think they could do a season 2. Because he's come out and said, like, I don't want to put that thing on again. Even though he's going to do it for the Batman, too. Okay. Woo. That's been a lot. Let's get into some of these trailers. Over the weekend, many teasers and trailers were released. We got a teaser for 28 Days Later. Barely a teaser.
28 years later.
Excuse me, what did I say, days?
Yeah.
Wow.
Years later.
And I watched the trailer for 28 Days Later thinking, have I seen this before somewhere? No, we got a teaser for 28 Years Later. Mm-hmm. It was very brief. Apparently, we're supposed to get a full trailer for that
tomorrow.
Yeah, that Tuesday. Is exciting. We also got a teaser for Wheel of Time Season 3, the new Dexter prequel series, Yellow Jackets Season 3, and namely Severance Season 2, which we're excited to and hopefully going to cover on New Rockstars next year.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get into too many of those trailers on this show. Check them out online if you haven't already. We have some other trailers that we want to get to. One of the trailers that really surprised Evan, and he demanded we watch it on the stream, is a movie called The Gorge. It's from director Scott Derrickson, who directed movies like Sinister and, of course, the first Doctor Strange film. It stars Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, and this is the one that Evan told us not to watch.
I'm very excited to see everybody's reactions. We probably can't play the full trailer if you're watching on YouTube, but we'll play the full trailer for everybody right now.
The Gorge is the door to hell.
I'm in it.
No.
I'm in it.
No.
I'm in it.
I'm
in it.
Bump it just a little bit, Matt.
I have to cross the entrance to hell to get to the woman I love.
And I'm here for it. I'm in it.
She's not into it. Okay.
I'm eating this.
You can't respond back. We can't talk.
She shot him.
This place is evil.
Yeah, it's hell.
No, it's the Witch's Road.
Oh my God, it's the Witch's Road.
I'm
Apple
sad.
TV, put this movie in a theater.
Put it in a theater. I know you're upset about wolves.
I need to see Miles Teller's abs from 6 stories to 2 stories, okay? 4 stories of abs.
Yeah, I mean, that whole trailer is such a ride. Just like the beginning premise, they say door to hell, then it's like this weird romantic drama, and then there's the Queen's Gambit reference. It's kind of like a Dawn of the Dead reference, right? With the playing chess across the thing. And then suddenly they're in the gorge and these creatures are coming out.
I'm convinced an improviser wrote this because someone told him to stay grounded and he said, no, fuck that. He said, nah, fuck that. There could have been anything in that gorge and to be like, nah, it's actually Satan's butthole.
You want to stay grounded? What? We're going in the ground.
We're going in the ground.
In the ground.
If it's Satan's butthole, though, is there a second layer? How big is Satan?
How many butthole layers do you got?
I'm just saying, you go into the gorge, and then if the butthole is there, could you potentially go deeper?
Go to your bed, get a hand mirror, and then come back and look at it.
Okay.
Also,
When you put Jessica and I on the same Breakroom show, it's gonna be a problem.
Send me a photo. I'll diagnose it.
H. Basso 13 saying, "Give me the Gorge in 4DX."
Literally,
Ooh,
the
4DX
shower scene.
Gorge.
I'm just getting soaked.
Yeah.
Send me
I'm
into
going,
the Gorge.
Not only to take a shower, I'm going to 4DX.
I'm going
Fun
to
fact,
48.
I've only been to 40X twice. Once was with Jessica, where I think by the end of
My
the
only
movie, we
time
all
was
wanted
that
to
time.
kill ourselves.
Yeah, my only time was that time, and I have not gone back. You've gone back, which is crazy.
I saw the Mario movie in 40X. Low-key, great experience. Really
Maybe,
good.
yeah, I feel like a cartoon like that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes more sense than the Hitman's Bodyguard's wife.
I was also in a theater. I know, sorry, this is off topic. We have a lot to get to today. I was in that theater, and it was half adults, half kids. Every single adult was so high. It was a really interesting experience. All of the
God,
adults
that's
were
wild.
stoned.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need,
I mean, it's kind of the only way.
Yeah.
It's kind of the only way. We can move on to the next thing, but I can't wait to look in behind who created the series, who wrote it, because it looks like Scott Derrickson absolutely just directed it. I'm like, Black Phone wasn't like this, because he always partners with that one guy that did Sinister.
Okay, so it's written by Zach Dean.
Huddleston, an improviser.
I
knew
it. Zach,
And Zach
Huddleston.
would write some crazy shit like this.
Zach Dean, who has written The Tomorrow War, the Chris Pratt Amazon movie.
I thought, and speaking of Chris Pratt, that it had a little bit of Passengers vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I feel that. I feel
yeah,
that. I feel
and he
that.
also is a story-only credit on Fast X, and a story-only credit on Fax 11.
So all
Fast
I'm hearing
11.
right now is the stakes can never be higher for this man.
Yeah.
This man
This
knows.
movie is
This
going
man
to
knows.
end with Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller in the mouth of a creature, and it will cut to black.
I'm
Based
so,
on the ending of Fast X.
I'm so excited for this. I still can't. I don't think Apple even knows what they're doing.
No.
Like, they don't even know what projects they take on. They're like, we're just trying to see what sticks really quick.
Yeah.
And that's one of them.
Maybe
and I'm
this
here
is
for
Wolves,
it.
too.
I'm going to get Apple.
There's a
for
wolf.
this.
There's probably a wolf in it, right?
You gotta think.
You gotta think.
I would love to see George and Brad in the Gorge.
In the Gorge. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was the Gorge. Up next, we got an extended look at. I'm gonna say the full title of this movie.
This is the full title.
From the world of John Wick, Ballerina. That's the whole. That's the title of
That's
the movie.
the title. Play the teaser.
From the world of John Wick. Oh my gosh, Shay Hatton wrote this.
Let's go.
Not important.
Yeah, I mean, so, this is the best remix of Tiny Dancer ever. Hard stop. This is a really interesting movie to me. It was shot 2 years ago, November 2022. Chad Stahelski, who's directed all the John Wick movies, he went back and he shot this movie was supposed to come out this year. And then he did 3 months, basically, of reshoots, doing more or additional action sequences in February 2024, where the film's director, Len Wiseman, was not present.
And this is, I was fascinated to see him give an interview.
Yeah.
Normally they just kind of say thanks, but.
Do you think that was
we don't
shot
need
a
you
while
to-
ago?
It's possible.
And then they just threw it in there and was like, and he's like,
Yeah,
sometimes
they
do
did.
shoot this on set while they're making the
Yeah.
movie.
And he's like, I wouldn't say that. Nah.
yeah, I wouldn't. Say that.
Yeah, so I don't know, are you guys excited for this movie? Is it there was that Peacock show, The Continental, that was more about the John Wick universe, but I didn't really hear that much
Yeah.
about it. I certainly didn't watch it, but maybe it's just because I don't have Peacock.
Wasn't it also starring Mel Gibson?
Ooh, let's see.
You think of the Beaver. I think I'm more excited after watching that preview. I was,
That's fine.
hearing sort of that news about, it's never a good. Reshoots are a normal part of the filmmaking process. What is not a normal part of the filmmaking process is replacing your director.
Yeah.
Sometimes they will have a second unit director come in and do pickups, reshoots, things like that. This is not that. The second unit director would be someone whose name we wouldn't recognize, right?
Yeah.
So it was concerning to hear that they were doing the reshoots that way. Told me that they weren't happy with what they had. But I thought that a lot of the things in that preview looked interesting. Now, I will say, I called out the writer of that film, Shay Hatton, who I think has written on John Wick since John Wick 3, and also wrote some Zack Snyder projects, I believe.
Yeah. The
For me, quite frankly, Rebel Moon and the zombie movie that Zack Snyder did, those didn't really work for me. Shea Hatton has a great script if you're a fan of reading movie scripts and also a fan of Stephen King. He wrote a great script called Maximum King that hit the blacklist a few years ago. All about Stephen King spiraling while making Maximum Overdrive and like seeing hallucinations of all of his different characters.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful script.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He's kind of hit or miss for me too. We'll see, I think, is the vibe for this movie.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, everything I saw, like, there looked pretty cool. And also, I think for me, it's like, John Wick Chapter 4, the more I've had, like, time to think about it, I'm like, I love all the set pieces. I'm not sure if it works as a movie, but it was a great watch, and I saw it, I think, twice in theaters. So this is probably going to be another one of those where it's like, yeah, I want to see, I know what I'm going to get. I'm not asking for more. I don't need to know too much more about the world. I just want to see some cool stuff.
And quite frankly, like, I miss movies like that.
Yeah.
Bit, where you are rocking up to the movie and you're not expecting a masterpiece necessarily. You're just like, oh, I want to watch some entertainment for a couple of hours and then go home. I think Gladiator 2 kind of falls into that bucket for me.
Sure.
Of like, okay, this didn't hit the same highs as like Gladiator did, but I still like ate a bunch of popcorn and had a bunch of fun.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I mean, hey, next year, let's see. Fingers crossed.
We'll see. Speaking of next year, Invincible Season 3 is coming out in January.
Woo.
And we finally got kind of a real trailer for Invincible Season 3, so let's take a look at that.
I don't know. Feels a little serious.
Apologies, it comes out in February, not January. Amazing. So, as a reminder, Season 2 ended with Mark killing Angstrom Levy, stranded in another dimension, ultimately getting rescued by a alt-universe, Guardians of the Globe, obviously. He vows never to let anyone put him and his family in that position ever again. I think this season is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm happy that Prime has figured their shit out and is just giving us the episodes.
Yeah.
Evan did some sleuthing and went frame by frame on this one. So Evan, let's break it down.
Yeah, we got a split-second appearance of what looks like Darkwing, the kind of Batman parody. I really loved like when they visited Midnight City and they explained. I was like, this could be its own like this city that is always night, and there's like a curse on it. So it'll be cool to see like what they do with him. It seems like he'll join the Guardians of the Globe or whatever iteration of the team there is. So excited to see what comes up with him there. We see Oliver's advanced aging because of his Thraxan heritage. He gets the Kid Omni-Man suit. I said it, in the reaction, but it was a little like when Ryan was teaching Homelander, or Homelander was teaching Ryan how to like throw the stunt guy, and he like punches that villain. But it's obviously not going to be as brutal as that. We get the return of Duplicate. We remember, we know that she survives the, her like massacre basically, but she survives, and it looks like she's gonna rejoin the team with the Immortal, and we also get her brother Multi-Paul. I love Duplicate and Multi-Paul. When I told Matt that his name was Multi-Paul, he really lost it. That one really got him. And of course, we get Invincible's blue and black suit when things, like he said, get a little bit serious. It'll be really interesting without the mid-season break how the story pacing is going to work. The season obviously looks like Alan the Alien is trying to get Omni-Man out of jail for the team up. We know they team up later to fight more of the Viltrumites, and it's also clearly going to pit Mark against Cecil, and it's interesting because Mark kind of like seemed like he was ready to like, the trailer shows it, he's like ready to like commit, and it looks like Cecil's still like, hey, I gotta keep my guard up. I'm excited. Any thoughts, Jessica?
It looked great. I'm excited.
Yeah, so that's coming out soon, February, and like you said, watch Invincible, the first episode, and then hey, watch The Gorge.
Oh,
watch The Gorge
on a totally different.
Can't wait to do the breakdown of The Gorge.
Yeah,
I was gonna say we are gonna be breaking down Invincible. I guess now we're committing to breakdowns of
I'm not
The
doing
Gorge.
Invincible.
And when I say
doing The Gorge.
breakdowns, we're gonna do multiple breakdowns of The Gorge.
It means I'm gonna be on camera
Ever.
crying for 3 hours.
A frame-by-frame analysis of Miles Teller's shower
Yeah.
scene.
Wait,
in
no,
The
hold on.
Gorge.
Valentine's Day stream, Jessica, Evan, and I all watch The Gorge while we gorge
Ourselves.
cute
Gorge.
little chocolates and
Yes.
things like that.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good
If we
idea.
hit 100,000 subscribers, please.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we should do that.
want a plaque.
That's a good one. Also, yeah, people in the chat bringing up no Adam Eve in the trailer. That's right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we, if she comes in this season and on what other. Dead?
Just kill her at the beginning.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible. Horrible.
No. But yeah, before we get into some of the Marvel stuff, we got a lot of late breaking news before we started the show. We want to thank our sponsors today, like Mando. Mando's a whole body deodorant, and when we say whole body, we mean the whole body. They asked us to start with a question that's a little not safe for work, but see if you can follow this metaphor instead.
Okay.
If your baseballs smell like foul balls, Mando has deodorant for you. Thanks, Berg.
That was hard to follow.
Yeah.
If your balls smell like dirt, is that what it means? Is that riddle me that? Dr. Seuss?
Here, smell my balls.
No! Why are your balls under your arms?
Oh, I am weird. I have a bad anatomy, and I didn't need you to shame me like that. I am actually wearing Mando today.
Yeah, Mando really works. Like, their whole body deodorant comes in 3 forms: invisible spray, solid stick, and invisible cream. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control, so it's perfect for long days at the game or the bar. Yeah, I was playing tennis. I put Mando on before, and while I was playing, I was like, oh, this one pretty good. True story. And I was like, wow. I sent a message in Slack on the weekend. I was like, everyone,
this is a true story.
You need to know, Mando really works. It stops odor before it starts, and it's safe to use on your entire body, pits, packaged feet, and everywhere in between. Mando comes in 4 cologne quality scents: bourbon, leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, Clover Woods. I really like the, which one is it out of these 4? The bourbon leather one, actually. I'm surprised. I normally wouldn't go for that. Tried a new smell, and I was like, you know, I like this. I like this a lot. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. It's a special offer for listeners. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code Breakroom at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Oh, that's cute. We also wanted to thank One Shot Energy. I don't know if you've ever tried doing anything without energy.
That would have been a perfect cut to.
But it doesn't work. Time oozes by slowly and you feel like you're in a thick fog just trying to respond to emails. I hate responding to emails in a thick fog. One Shot Energy Chews fix that, whether they're part of your morning routine or something you keep in your pocket for when the doldrums. One Shot Energy can give you the energy you need right when you need it. All of One Shot's Energy's products are plant-based, naturally sweetened, without a bunch of fillers and chemicals. They've got energy chews, voice drops, and focus chews. You know our favorite here on the Break Room is the voice drops, and they're great. Often take them before a show. It's a hat trick for hosting, and we thank One Shot for making our jobs easier. Get started with One Shot Energy today by going to oneshotenergy.com/new rockstars for 10% off your order. All right. Where should we start? We've got We've got What If Season 3. We've got Spider-Man 4 update, and we've got Avengers Doomsday, a big actor returning.
And Mandalorian and
Grogu. That's
let's get that shit out of the way first.
Mandalorian and Grogu?
Yeah, right.
All right.
It's not a ton of news.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, both Jeff Snyder and The Hollywood Reporter are reporting that Jeremy Allen White of
The Bear,
just being hot, I guess, has been cast in Mandalorian and Grogu as a voice role.
Yes.
We heard that film has wrapped already, but this is a voice role. And apparently he's going to be a member of the Hutt family.
Yes, he is going to be Rada the Hutt. What is Jeremy Allen White going to look like? There he is.
No.
Just picture him saying hands.
But
hands.
with abs.
Yeah, but with
I think
abs.
he's tiny little hands.
Is he gonna be like a teenager?
Yeah, he'll be probably either late teen or adults. Eric, John and I were talking, like, not sure quite. You would have to sit down and do the math of, like, how many years apart is it from his appearance here to when it's going to be Mandalorian Grogu, and then also factor in the Hutt's aging, and, like, how they age. So
Has
we'll
he done
have
voice
to see.
acting before?
I don't know if he's
Because
done
every
voice
role he
acting
plays,
before.
he's playing that same voice.
That is true.
It's like the same, just like agitated. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just curious because every time I do see like a form of a Hutt in any Star Wars show, like the person that's doing it has the inflection of like, ugh, I'm heavy, I'm tired, I'm doing this. And I'm like, I have never seen him do that. And I wonder if he's going to play it like as,
Yeah,
as he
he's
does
just
in The
as
Bear.
him.
He's just cussing people out, or is he going to actually, is he going to be like,
Tattoos.
You think he's gonna have a bunch of cousins?
How do you tattoo a slug? I don't know.
How do you tattoo a slug?
We speaking of that photo, we also heard this week that Ahsoka season 2 is set to shoot next year for a 2026 release.
Yeah, this is a kind of a dour headline. Dour headline. Thank you, Matt. But yeah, Ahsoka's moving. They're gonna shoot in April 2025 in the UK. So no show shooting in LA.
Good for her.
Yeah, but nice to have like more of a confirmation that this is actually going to happen and not just in the development phase.
Do you remember the Total Film article that had it had Andor, Ahsoka, Kenobi, and I think it was The Mandalorian all on the cover? Is it just The Mandalorian and Ahsoka that are going forward with extra seasons?
I think so. I mean, actually, funny you bring that up. Skeleton Crew creators John Watts and Christopher Ford has said that they know what a second season would be like if they got greenlit, and they're also like, we don't want to do a Stranger Things thing. Like, we don't want to be like, oh, season 2 happens tomorrow. It's like, we want it. It's been a few years since they've shot it. It's going to be another couple years until they would be finished. They're like, we'll do a time jump.
Because that Neil actor's already starting to get a little long in the tooth.
Long in the trunk.
You see his teeth?
Long in the trunk.
Yeah, his baby teeth are all gone.
And I don't think that they're doing more seasons of The
long in the
Mandalorian.
tusk, long in the
It's a little weird. I think they parlayed that into a film.
They're not trying to make They're not trying to make more new stuff right now, right?
very funny.
They just threw a bunch out, and now they're just trying to make seasons.
And I think
of it.
and movies, right? Because it's like their big return to theatrical. Yeah.
Sorry,
No. I was just gonna say they were doing movies, and then they were like, "This isn't working for us." They swung hard to TV, and now it seems like they're like, "Oh, we should do movies again."
They looking back at it, I was like, "Do you know how many shows they put out on Disney Plus?"
I'm watching one right now. It's good.
I love it.
I like
good.
it.
But I was like, I remember when we started, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get Kenobi, Andor, Ahsoka," but then we were also like, "Oh, here's Mandalorian." Then we had the Boba Fett. And I was like, it just kept going. It kept going. And now I'm like, okay, when are we going to slow down? I remember, not Bob Iger, was it Bob Iger that was like, we need to go back to being small. And I was like, you guys have 12 series a year. Let's figure this out.
I mean, it will be interesting to see once we get past this, like, past Skeleton Crew and past... Would it be Andor season 2, or like even on the Marvel side too, like Ironheart, and I'm trying to think. There's another. Oh, and like Wonder Man, like the shows that were announced during the big streaming boom, right? Like what the approach becomes then.
At least it looks like online they've just taking things off of the like calendar. It looks like we at least have a good idea with Marvel. Star Wars, I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember Skeleton Crew being the last one, being like, oh, this is the last new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then being like, hopefully it's settle for a minute.
No, I mean, and speaking of taking things off the calendar, the final season of What If is coming out in a couple of weeks. We got a trailer for that as well at CCXP with some cool blink and you miss it images that we've pulled for you guys. So let's take a watch at that trailer.
Let's begin.
Are you telling me it's...
I think they put Bucky and Red Guardian, and at the bottom it said season 2.
I saw that too.
Because they were supposed to release it then.
I saw that too.
So
they
odd.
didn't fix it?
If you're not aware, they at the end of season 2 last year, they sort of teased season 3 with a long clip of Red Guardian and Bucky.
Yes, on the internet,
There's been a couple of episodes that have been moved around. This episode was intended for season 2. There was an episode intended for season 1 that ended up going to season 2.
The Gamora and Tony on Sakaar one.
Okay, yeah. Can't save an episode for season 4. This is the final season. I want to know from you guys. Brad Winderbaum has been giving some interviews that has sort of implied that like this is the Watcher's story and a culmination of the Watcher's story. To me personally, the Watchers has kind of been peppered in, but never has felt like the Watcher's story to me. What would you guys prefer from this season? Would you prefer them to stick more anthology? Obviously, in the last couple of seasons, they've done anthology episodes that have sort of built to a season finale. Or would you mind, would you like this season to be more interconnected and sort of a woven story through the whole thing?
Well, I'll argue that because it's an anthology series, the one thing that's been connected throughout all of them is the Watcher. So calling it a Watcher story seems a little too ambiguous, but it is a Watcher story no matter what at the end of the day. He's the one that actually messed up everything to begin with. Even though Captain Carter is the heart of it, it's like she's only here because he messed it all up. So he has to be, it's like he messed up, she fixed it, and the third episode is like the consequences of your actions. So I wanted to still be exactly what it is. I wanted to stay an anthology series, but keep that linear, like that line that is like, remember that he has to, there has to be justice for what he did.
Yeah.
And he interrupted the universe.
Yeah, he went back on his whole kind of like creed, right? Like we have this image at the end there with the Watcher and some of the Celestials, and you have to wonder, like, is this, like, is he, you know, he's like, oh, maybe it's time to start meddling with everybody, or is it, you know, I did too much and I have to take a full step back and go all the way back and be kind of objective in the universe, you know? I think, you know, back to your question, John, I feel like there's so many shots. You see Cohorty, you see Storm as Thor, right? We have that shot as well, but there were a few different shots of her walking with other characters, walking with Cohorty. It will be really interesting to see what the connective thread is. I would love kind of like a middle ground between season 1 and season 2, because I personally like that there is like some aspect of connection, but I do think they've kind of had to like shoehorn it in a little bit. Like season 1 shoehorns it in the most, where it's just like, oh, these stories, bring it together. Right. Whereas season 2 went, oh, we'll do 4 episodes on Captain Carter traveling through the multiverse and like and seeing all those what ifs. I'm like, what is the middle ground of that? I don't know. I don't think I have a perfect answer, and that's, you know, you guys can be like, Evan doesn't know what he's talking about, but like I don't know. I think there's like a middle ground between like pure anthology and having it be this, like, you know, this story about the Watcher, like what Jess said, you know, to bring the series to a close.
I think the first season did a better job of what you want and being like, it was just like, oh, here's the order. We're gonna watch this Vision, Ultron Vision, and then he became bad, and he was like, oh shit, oh god, I messed up. I shouldn't have been looking at this guy. I shouldn't have been looking right here. Yeah. I think that's as close as they're gonna get to the middle. I do think there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that were happening with it, but that writer's room taking on the second season and making them just mirror like nostalgic 80s films was great quality, but I did think it kind of ruptured what this storyline was. Sure. Because they were focused so much on making sure you got a Die Hard sequel than the plot of what was happening with the Watcher. Yes. And so I was like, oh, if we keep sticking to these themes, I don't know how easy it's going to be to close it all up in the third season.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Is this the season where Matthew Chauncey took over for I can't remember her name.
What's her? Yeah, this is the season.
Yeah.
She left, and now he's on.
So,
in charge.
And interestingly enough about Matthew Chauncey, he was in the room for both seasons of What If. Previously, I think also worked on Miss Marvel, if I'm remembering correctly, but he's taking over for Beau DeMayo for X-Men 97 season 2 and 3. I don't know if that
was he in the room before?
I don't know if that's come out. No, he was not in the room.
I don't think that's come out.
Breakroom scoop.
I'm like,
I don't think that's a crazy scoop.
I think that's crazy, but okay, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm blowing it up because I'm like, oh my, he's taking on the head writer position. That's interesting. Now I'm gonna under a microscope. I'm gonna be looking at the final season of What If. Absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting because those people still, even though they're great writers and can write differently for different shows, it's still little pieces of them that show through those shows. So I want to see what he takes over, because the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97 were my favorite, and I was like, writing wise, like I love those episodes that were written by Beau. So I want to see what.
I will say,
and it is public information.
It is.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. The X-Men 97 season 2 was finished before Beau DeMayo was fired.
Right.
So this is just taking over duties as a showrunner, which is like, you know,
5 months ago.
Oh my God.
Hey, voice acting, obviously there's like directors and things for that, but you know, like the final decision making stuff. So he was not in the room for X-Men 97 season 2, though he is running the room for X-Men 97 season 3, but he'll be doing showrunner duties for season 2. Okay, here's a quick question for you guys. Final season of What If. Do they do anything crazy at the end of the season? Do they break into live action ever? Do we see any, you know, 616 stuff happening? Like, where do we go at the end of the season, or do they just finish the show?
They did say, Brad Winterbaum said in an interview that one of the characters is coming, like, into 616. In a very loose way, you know how they have to. Yeah. But he was like, we're prepared to take this person into more properties. Yeah. And it's like, maybe okay, Cordy? What is... Yeah. I think it's the Watcher. It's the Watcher for Doomsday. But because they also incorporated him in Baby Groot. So it's like, might as well easy. Just keep bringing him in.
And the shot, I mean, it wasn't like written in the script, but like the shot in X-Men 97 too, where there is.
Oh yeah, his
actor,
head.
like, yeah.
His big old dome.
Yeah, I mean, John
have actually been in the MCU live action before, not maybe this one, but
yeah, sure.
in that interstitial moment in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah. I mean, John, you and I were talking earlier, but like, what if, they go into the X-Men 97 universe, right? And that's that storm that is coming to in this what if, right? Like
I
the origins of that storm is
so
really
fun.
interesting.
being able to reach into those shows. And we should point out this storm that we are seeing here sort of looks designed after the X-Men 97 version of the character, but that's also obviously pulled from the comics and all that kind of stuff, but is done in the animation style of What If Season 3. So, you know, it's possible it's the same character, but or the same universe's character. But just but maybe not at the same time.
Right. Some thoughts from the chat, kind of in the vein of your question. I am Iron Man 10 saying... I think Captain Carter and Cohorty's storm will be at the TVA by the end of the season, and the TVA will recruit them to get new Avengers to defeat Doom.
Yeah, it's interesting that we haven't seen the TVA in What If yet.
Yeah, I think the TVA... maybe this is next week's episode, but like a What If final season, like, bingo board of like things that could happen.
Oh, that would be really fun.
Yeah.
That
So like the
really
TVA
fun.
appears.
Obviously, TVA couldn't be in season 1 because Loki and What If season 1 were in production at the same time.
Yeah.
It came out around the same time as well, but could have done it for season 2. Can do it for season 3.
Do you think they will get back the Black Widow they put in the new universe, or save it for live action? Asked GSU Eagle. I think that Black Widow will come back, or I think Lake Bell will be voicing Black Widow regardless.
There will probably be a Black Widow, definitely voiced by Lake Bell. Did that Black Widow have a Fortnite tie-in, or am I thinking of something crazy and different? I think I'm wrong.
Maybe. Well, hey, what if
what if there is a Fortnite tie-in?
What if Marvel goes to Fortnite?
It'll never happen.
Been there.
It'll never happen.
Come on.
I'll do anything.
They have enough.
Wait, it's already happened?
Well, they just have every character.
Well, What If comes out, in 2 weeks?
December 22nd.
Yeah, very coming up. We'll probably do some predictions or some type of formal episode on that leading up to it. We come out over the holidays, so expect the bulk of our coverage to happen after the holiday break. But
depending on how that episode goes with the Gundam, I have it in my draft folder sending that tattoo to my tattoo artist.
Oh, hell yeah.
I am prepared to get Monica Rambeau's Gundam on my leg. If that episode is good, which I have faith it is, but if it's not good, I'm not getting it.
And I want to see more. I want to see more Moon Knight too.
Oh my, that Moon Knight suit. It's so good. It's so good. He has like the Predator dreads, but it's his it's the tissue from his like lining.
We got a lot more to get into today, and we will go long for you guys because we love talking about this kind of stuff. And one of those things also Today, Amy Pascal of Pascal Pictures, and formerly of Sony Pictures, one of the producers on the Spider-Man movies, sort of the lead producer on these Spider-Man movies, was featured in Deadline's Behind the Lens interview series and gave a quote about Spider-Man 4. Here's what she had to say. She said, "We have to deal with the fact that he decided he was going to give up being Peter Parker and he was going to focus on being Spider-Man because being Peter Parker was too hard." I don't know if that's exactly right. So that's what the movie is about. Now, it's interesting, right? Like, I think a lot of fans were hopeful that that was what they were going to do. There have been a lot of rumors about what this movie could be. Mm-hmm. One rumor is that Null from Venom: The Last Dance could appear in this film. One rumor is that a Miles Morales from a Into the Spider-Verse type of thing could happen. Another rumor is that this is definitely going to be a multiversal picture that sets up Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars. And then the last rumor that I think maybe I think fans have holding the closest is some kind of like Mayor Fisk, Daredevil, something or other happening. Now, obviously, they're going to explore a lot of that in the Daredevil series that's coming out in March, but I think a lot of fans were hoping that it would be some kind of Spider-Man Kingpin type of situation.
I guess it's more so, do they want to lean more Marvel or do they want to go more Sony Pictures? It's interesting because it's like at least he gets his own leg up in his own Sony Pictures. Does that make sense? Like if they did Null, it's like, he gets more playground to work with. Creatively, they can handle a lot more stuff. But if we do the Kingpin storyline, we're working in Daredevil's territory. Like it has to, first and foremost, it has to work with whatever Daredevil Born Again is giving us. His mother, he hates.
Hank did not like that. Hank was like, Sony Pictures should be in charge of Spider-Man. They do not need Marvel.
Whoa.
That's what Hank thinks.
Rare take.
I think taking on the Noel one wouldn't be so horrible, especially if they just lay it up for Doomsday.
So I'll ask you guys then, of those options, what would you prefer?
Yeah, I think Sony has like the most interesting. I mean, Sony has the chance to do something very funny, right? But they can reboot everything. They can link everything. I think it would be cool for them to somehow have Marvel the Marvel creative brain to come in and reconcile all their Sony like Spumsy movies, right? Be like, hey, what's your take on how we can like bring an end to all these? Like obviously Venom: The Last Dance. There's an end to that, but like how can we reconcile that we made these like movies that we teased to be in these other universes, and Null is maybe like a link to all of this. That would be cool, but just based off that description, it does feel like to me that maybe he would, that's kind of what Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man went through, right? It was like too hard to be Peter Parker, so he decided to throw himself into his work. That the rumors of like a team up maybe of Andrew Garfield coming back for that movie seem more viable if he's like, hey, Doctor Strange, I know hey, in another life you did this thing for me, it went really bad, but could you let me talk to this one guy? This is one guy, because I need advice,
I need advice. That's the hard thing too, is like, that sounds a lot like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but then him also diving into his work, and if he became like cold-hearted, that's too much Daredevil. Because during like the blip, Daredevil is like clearly losing his mind a little bit. So it's like, it's a little too Daredevil if he gets too darkened by just being that. But we haven't had a storyline with Tom Holland becoming like a bad bad Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the closest we get is May dies and he tries to beat the shit out of Green Goblin at the end of No Way Home. But you're right, that's maybe a couple of minutes of a story rather than like a full arc. I think it's interesting that a lot of people thought, okay, Peter and MJ have this moment at the end of No Way Home, and maybe now that Peter Parker's identity is not something people know about, does MJ even appear in this movie?
Yeah.
And we do have confirmation from The Hollywood Reporter that Zendaya is going to be shooting this movie. We don't know how much she's going to be in it.
Yeah.
I do wonder if they're going to do what they had originally intended to do with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is introduce a Gwen. Now that Zendaya's, kind of like icon status has risen so high. But that being said, No Way Home was one of the most financially successful movies of all time, so you can pay your actors if you really want to.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think, because Spider-Man's going to make money. It's going to make money.
Yeah. I think, and also like, they have they're in a relationship as well. Like, I'm sure that there's like a little bit of like wheeling and dealing they can do on that side of things to be like, hey, do this movie for a little bit lower or whatever. But at the same time, it does seem like she was an integral part of that movie. Like some of my favorite scenes in all three of those movies have to do with them just being the like kind of like this like grounded element of those movies, right? Like everyone's like, we need a neighborhood Spider-Man, and like those quieter moments. Like I'll never forget when they are walking, when they watch the opera together, or they try to, and then that whole scene where he has to like tell her he's Spider-Man, like. That stuff's awesome. That's my favorite part of Far From Home.
Yeah, in the last one when it was just her and Ned in Ned's house was really like for me being like, oh yeah, I forget. I think what I really like, it has not come out yet, but the newer animated Spider-Man movie, the interviews that they have done about it, they've spoken on like there's a million characters because Spider-Man's nothing without his neighborhood. That's the whole point of why it's like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I think the Miles Morales, those Spider-Man movies do a really good job incorporating everybody, so you have feelings for everyone. And I think Tom Holland's Peter Parker hasn't really done a great job of like showcasing everybody, but has made Zendaya and Ned a part of the main cast. So it makes sense that they're going to show up, even if they're at MIT by themselves and have nothing to do with Spider-Man's storyline. If we see a little snippet of them, it makes sense to show up in this movie.
Or if he feels like he needs to protect them still, even though
he's just hanging out in Boston now.
Yeah.
Get him out of Boston.
Spider-Man loves Dunkin' Donuts.
Really good point. If you lose those two characters, you don't have an Uncle Ben to kill. You don't have Harry in these movies. You don't have some of the like friends of Peter
Yeah.
to lean
Yeah.
on and come back to. That's a really good
He's got
take.
it.
I think you have to keep them because that's what grounds the movie and makes him feel like a teenager, essentially, right, with friends and shit like that.
But that's also the thing is like they could be getting out of that teenager zone and putting him into adulthood. Like if he did find a new Gwen or was the other one, who's the other one they in the comics and video game? Black Cat. If he does find Black Cat.
Black Cat would be fun.
I think though one of the parts I'm really into this here now is just more so okay, his origin story is now over. This is now Peter Parker, Spider-Man, or just Spider-Man. What is he gonna do? How do you guys stay grounded but still go higher than what we last saw, which was him inviting every sort of bad guy from every universe into the world?
Yeah.
How can you get higher than that? And I think they're gonna have to be like, oh, we're gonna have to subject him to normal human things that are gonna be really hard for him to actually.
I mean,
conquer.
he is alone. Right
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gone, he's a hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I think to your point too, like would or one of your options that you listed out earlier, John, like would this be a setup to Doomsday or Secret Wars? It feels like, I don't know. I mean, we have to see the effect that if Marvel was like, did we like shoot ourselves in the foot by doing a spell that crazy where people like us spend years being like, so what did it do? You know, like could another Sony Marvel collab have that much ramification in the MCU again? Is definitely like a business and creative decision that they're probably like working out day by day.
That poor writer, dude.
Yeah.
That poor writer. Because not only is he writing it, he also has to bridge the gap between Sony and Marvel Studios.
Yeah. He's fielding emails left and right.
They're like, take this out. Wait, what? Take that out. I genuinely, I kind of want to see Noel because we didn't get like the full capacity of what Noel could be, and I know that they're saving it for like the Sony movies, but I'm like, could you imagine if like the new Spider-Man got a hold of Noel like that? Oh my god!
I think that's something
that'd be
fans really
so
want
insane.
is to get a black suit Spider-Man, right?
And give it to Tom Holland.
Because
He'd do
we
great.
didn't. I mean, like I'm genuinely a sympathizer for Spider-Man 3, and I think that what Sam Raimi was trying to do with that sequence maybe didn't do very successfully with the cringe dance sequence. Is like.
The original Spider-Man. I thought you were talking about this Spider-Man. I was like, everyone loved this
not
Spider-Man. I love the Spider-Man 3.
I really like it. I really like it.
Topher Grace, that was so fun.
Yeah.
Because also that was, I will always love Sandman.
No, Tobey
But
Maguire,
Sandman-
not Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
No, Topher Grace.
Oh, Topher
played
Grace, sorry.
Venom.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah,
mix
bro.
those two
Played-
guys up
yeah.
in my head all the time in
Easy,
general.
easy mistake. Look nothing alike, but also look exactly alike.
I
Yes,
also think
100%.
bring in multiverse Flash, Joe Manganiello.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Tony Revolori is
Is that the kid at the
a great
school?
a great guy and apparently like a good guy.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he's not not going to
bully.
don the Venom suit. I don't
Yeah.
think. Okay, we have a couple more things to get to before we wrap up today, but I can't remember what they are.
Well, let's make this the last thing we'll get into. We'll wrap it up there. All right. So before we started the show, news broke from The Wrap that Chris Evans is set to return in Avengers Doomsday. Shout out The Wrap, of course, and Humberto Gonzalez. According to them, Chris Evans is returning to the MCU as part of the cast for Avengers Doomsday, the highly anticipated sequel that will also star Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Evans will be involved in some capacity, but the extent and exact nature of his role is unknown. We talked a little bit on the kind of live stream portion of the show where, we were joking around that maybe they pull him from the time when he's returning the Infinity Stones. I still like that idea.
You know what? I didn't realize that this was for Doomsday and not Secret Wars. That kind of surprises me. I would have expected it for Secret Wars, absolutely. But him being confirmed for Doomsday almost makes me think that like we can just say he's going to be in both. Unless they kill him in the first movie or something like that.
I think maybe, right? Because we were talking like, do you get old Steve Rogers, him in like old makeup, or do we get young Steve Rogers? I could see a version of old Steve Rogers step into the plate, being like, I know how to handle this guy.
Right.
Hey, Tony,
I know
step
how to
down.
handle this guy. Or what if this guy shows just how strong
He just
and
thinks
like
Dr. Doom is Tony.
what if Doom just is like I think I'm also not trying to be this person. I know that it cost a lot of money to get Chris Evans, and you're already getting Robert Downey Jr., and then you're also encompassing some other people, like the Fantastic Four probably.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's probably going to cost a lot, and I could see him making literally a cameo appearance that's like Doom, like rewatching something, or Doom being like, oh, I have trained against all your greatest, and like shows that he can clone an Avenger and makes Chris Evans and fights him.
That's a great idea. Like a montage sequence of Doctor Doom killing other universes, right, or something like that, and we see other people reprising their roles from over time.
I will say that was a part of the Kang situation that he kind of talked about, where he, like, when he alluded to like, oh,
have I killed you
before?
Yeah.
That I think that was a really cool sequence that could have been done if we kept up with Kang's storyline. That I could see them giving to the brothers and being like, do you want to put this in your story? And they're like, yeah, let's show Doom killing every version of everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
And then he gets that reveal that it's like, oh, we know that guy. That's our friend. That's our friend. Fantastic Four. Like, I don't know this guy. Everybody else is like, we don't know this guy. Only like the Thor that's behind is like, that's my boy. That's my king.
One thing I do think is interesting is that we're getting this news relatively early.
Yeah.
Cameo appearances are usually like when we found out Wesley Snipes was going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine. That was like a couple of months before the movie because Wesley like tweeted something, which was come on, dude.
Hey, he doesn't know any better.
He doesn't know any better. He's old. So I think this is probably more of a robust role if you're, especially like, I guess they are pretty close to like starting production on that film, but you know, cameos. Ryan Reynolds has been giving some of these interviews after Deadpool and Wolverine has come out. Now that it's on digital, it is kind of implied that like some cameos come, some cameos go. We try to make them work, but sometimes we have to replace them with other things. I can't remember exactly who he's talking about when he made that comment. But I feel like the nature of a cameo is sometimes a little bit more elusive.
Sure.
This makes me think that maybe they've locked him down for something a little bigger.
Yeah. I mean, Eli Finelli asking, do you think Chris Evans will be playing a major role in Doomsday or have a similar amount of time of screen time as the Fox characters in Deadpool and Wolverine? Probably more than that then. I mean, like, or that level of some of the ones who lasted the longest, right? Like Gambit or X-23. But I mean,
I would love to see what the Russos do if they bring back 2 of the original Avengers and put them on the screen. And expect us to be very excited. I know. I love Chris Evans. I love Captain America. But I'm also like, okay, where have I seen this before? So I'm like, I want to see a difference. I want to see a change.
It's so tough because you have to move on. We need new characters that we love. Yeah. And at the same time, like, who doesn't want Chris Evans to show up in this movie? Yeah. I mean, you know, everyone... there was a little bit of a lukewarm reaction from some fans when Robert Downey Jr. was announced to come back and play.
I think the casual...
I think it was more confusion.
Situation.
Yeah. And I think the casual people are like, oh, MCU's dead, right? Like, it's the total cash grab, right?
And that, I guess that tells you, like, the Russos know who they're making this for, and it's not new people. And maybe I'm just suggesting because I know that Marvel was trying to bring in a lot of new characters only to backlash, and then they're like, Bob Iger was like, we need to go back to the day that it was great, and they can make money off of the same people that come and watch it, and also the negative comments that are from like people like me being like, I have seen Chris Evans enough. I'm kind of, if you're gonna bring him back, I want to see him brought back doing something different. That's why I love Peggy Carter.
Oh my god. Okay, crazy take. What if he's Molecule, man?
That'd be sick. See, now you got me falling for it because I'm like, Robert Downey Jr. is not playing Tony Stark. He's playing something different. Yeah. So I'm like, it's just the same thing. But I would.
Right.
So this is not fair because I just want Molecule Man.
I know.
I've always wanted Molecule Man. I've always wanted Molecule Man. That's the only reason.
It would be crazy.
And also, maybe it could work that way, like how Kang was able to see different varieties of himself. Like if they just open a portal and it's all these Avengers that didn't actually become Avengers, they became different villains.
Oh yeah, I mean that's also like what they're doing in the Ultimates comics right now. Like there's a world where a ton of the people who like would have picked up the mantle did not become those heroes, and young Iron Man is trying to like send them little hero packages. So it's like, no, this is who you could have become. Yeah. And people are like, I don't want that.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I'd been like, wait, I could own a planet. Wait, I could be a tyrant?
Wait, you're telling me what?
Wait a minute. And I wear a cape with a metal mask?
You're telling me I could have been really good at shooting bow and arrows?
Oh my god. No, I wouldn't. If I could see a world where I was like, you are a prodigy.
Yeah.
#1 ace sharpshooter with a bow and arrow, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Dump it in the trash just
Jessica,
like
are
Hawkeye
you
did.
sure? Nah, I gotta go retrieve them.
I want that sponsorship money.
The sponsorship money.
Yeah, if I'm an ace, you know,
Sharpshooter,
I'll
yeah.
do some Olympic
well,
stuff.
you can see
Yeah,
other
that's
things
true.
that you're good. First off, that's cheating. Cheating.
I don't have to be a superhero.
Oh,
You're like Dash in The
yeah.
Incredibles.
I mean, you'd be sponsored by Mando because you'd be sweating all the time.
That's true.
That's true.
It's true. I'm a sweaty boy. Thank you guys so much for watching the break room with us today.
Do you
Yeah.
think they'll give Chris Evans that Miles Teller shower scene?
Ooh, yeah. Get Chris Evans in the shower for the MCU. They need it.
Get him in the shower.
We need it. All of us.
Get me in there.
Maybe he only showers. That's it for us today. Hey, we've said it before. We'll say it again. Subscribe. Unsubscribe on January 1st. I don't give a hoot.
Wait, no, don't say that. They'll do it.
We'll do
Get
it.
your mom to subscribe. Get the person you just ate lunch with to subscribe.
That's true, yeah.
Make an account for your dog and subscribe to the break room. We really will do anything.
I know people are saying, hey, 24-hour stream, and it's getting more likely and likely
Well,
every
absolutely,
day.
we'll do a 24-hour stream.
You guys want this
if we
Kai
hit
Cenat stream?
100K?
Yeah.
No. By December 31st.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's a guarantee. And we're only less than 5,000 people away, so,
Fewer.
you know.
If we hit 100,000, we'll
Fewer.
get Gary
They stand
Busey
us
on.
We'll get the Buse.
We'll get
If
the
we
views.
hit 100,000, we will get Simu Liu on the show. And you know why I can say that? Is because now I'm 1 degree of separation from
There you
Simu
go.
Liu.
Damn.
Okay? I can't guarantee it, but I guarantee it, okay? Hey, follow Evan at
Studio Yee, I guess, 2 underscores, or follow me at the Breakroom NR, where I'm posting all of those
Where
things.
are those underscores?
Studio __ Yee.
Okay. Follow Jessica at, I know this one. Do you want to say it? Okay. That's exactly what I was gonna
Follow me at blah, 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 blah.
Great. Thank you guys for watching. The Break Room is on Blue Sky. It is on Threads. It is on Instagram. And that's it for us today. We'll see you later.
Later.